Hello everybody, my name is Peter, and today I'm going to show you guys how to solve the Kalphite Queen using the Veracs method. You can do it with, say, Bandos and a range switch, but my range sucks, so I do it using Veracs, and it's relatively successful, so I thought I'd show you guys how to do it. Two important things to note: you're going to want at least 95 attack and strength. Your defense is not as important, but with 97 attack and 98 strength, I sometimes can't even get a single kill on a trip, so if you have lower than that, you're going to be wasting a lot of time and a lot of supplies more often than not, so I would not suggest doing Kalphite Queen until you have higher stats. Second thing is, this is being recorded when the servers are not very good, so you have 30 minutes to get your stuff when you die. This means that I am risking stuff like B-Ring and Fire Cape, which you may not want to do unless you have 30 minutes to get your stuff, because there is no way you can get back to the Kalphite layer in 2 minutes. However, in 30 minutes you have plenty of time, and not a lot of people go there because Kalphite Queen is not a popular boss, meaning the chances of your items getting looted is very low. Especially Fire Cape, since it's untradeable. Even if you die there, nobody can loot this. I've died about 4 times there and never had any of my stuff looted, so it's not a huge risk. However, if a world keeps DCing, you might not even be able to make it back in 30 minutes, so keep that in mind. So, onto the gear and alternatives. This is the setup that I bring, which might look like the cheaper alternative when you see what's in my inventory, but I will explain that as we go. So, the reason I bring a Glory over a Fury is the only thing you lose is 12 to all your defense, you lose 2 strength, and you lose 2 prayer. Which isn't a big deal, and I know I said that you'll be able to pick your stuff back up fine when you die, which is true. However, Fury protects over Veracs Helm, which means that you will actually protect your Fury and you lose your Veracs Helm, and when you pick it up, your Veracs Helm will be degraded. Which means, one, you cannot use it to finish off the Kalphite Queen while you're there. You'll have to bank and repair your Veracs Helm and then go back and finish it off, at which point it may have reverted to its first form if you died when it was in its second form. And also you'll have to pay to repair it, which is a money sink that is not really necessary. So to be safer, I bring a Glory. Also, Fire Cape, as I mentioned before, you may not want to risk this if you only have 2 minutes to get your stuff. I have a bunch, and I have 30 minutes to get my stuff, so I don't mind risking it, but you may want to bring something like a Skill Cape, or a Obsidian Cape, or a Legends Cape, or whatever. But again, defensive stats aren't really important. So over Obsidian, Legends, or Skill Cape, I would suggest a God Cloak if anything, or a trimmed Skill Cape, but like Legends Cape is going to be basically useless at Kalphite Queen, so it's not really, I'm not going to say I wouldn't suggest bringing it, but there's no real incentive to bring it. Gloves, the reason I take Rune Gloves or Barrow's Gloves is because when you die with Barrow's Gloves, you get a 70k coin stack, and they cost upwards of 130k to buy. So when you die, you actually lose another 50k off the gloves, which if you take Fury, you'll also have to repair your helmet, and it can be upwards of 100k every time you die. Whereas with this setup, all you lose is the 10k from the gloves, which actually is less than that because you get your coin stack back. So it's you lose out on 4 accuracy and 4 strength, but it's not a huge deal, and it's a lot cheaper in case you die. As for the ring, you can bring a Ring of Life instead of a Zerk ring. You could also bring the Treacherous ring, I believe it is, that gives you crush attack, which could be helpful, but the majority of your damage is going to come from the activation of the Veracs set effect. So additional accuracy is not nearly as important as max hit, in my opinion. However, keep in mind that if your Zerk ring is imbued, you may not want to risk it, because even if you get there within the 30 minutes and pick up your Zerk ring, it will lose its imbued status, so you'll have to go recharge it for another 650,000 Nightmare Zone points. So if you don't have a lot of points, or you only have imbued rings, you may not want to bring one, because you might not want to lose those points. I bring one because I've already died with 2 imbued ones, and I'm not going to bother re-imbuing it till I get my Kalphite Queen pet, so I don't mind risking it because I can just go pick it up. Also, Ring of Life can potentially be a burden as opposed to a help, because if you have, say, 35 health, her max hit is 31, which means that first off, you're hardly ever going to actually get saved by it, because you could be in the 20s and go right down to 0. And also, if you're at 35, you might get hit for 31, get Ring of Life out when you have plenty of sharks left. However, you got Ring of Life out, and now you've got to run all the way back and waste a bunch of time. So I would, in certain situations, even suggest against bringing any ring if you can't bring a B ring or a treacherous ring, but that's all up to personal preference, really. Also, Bandos boots, you can bring over D boots. The only difference is you lose the +4 strength. You get +15 range defense and +1 to your melees. However, as I mentioned before, your defense stats are pretty much negligible against Kalphite Queen because she's going to hit you almost every single time anyways. So I would strongly suggest D boots. They're also significantly cheaper. So if you can, I would suggest bringing them. Ceradon Godsword I have here because I've been testing it out. I'm not sure if it's better than the flail for the first form, but even if it's not, just using its specs is better than bringing a shark in its place, because this minimum heal from the SGS spec, if it doesn't hit a 0, is 10, so 2 specs is 20, and sharks heal for 20. It's also important to note, however, that SGS protects over your Veracs, well, protects over all your Veracs, including your Veracs helm. So even if you have this setup and you bring an SGS, you will have to repair your Veracs helm. Also, Bandos boots protect over the Veracs skirt. So if you're, well, and the rest of your Veracs. So if you have like these items with you and you die, you're gonna have to repair your flail and your Veracs helm. So depending on your smithing level and how easily you can access an armor stand, you may want to consider that when gearing up for Kalphite Queen. But that's enough about the gear. I'll talk about the inventory setup now. You're going to want a single prayer potion 4-dose because you are only going to get 1 kill, so you don't need more. You need 2 ropes, which I will explain as we go. You're going to want to bring some house tabs. I mean, 1 will suffice, but if you're doing multiple kills, you might as well bring a bigger stack. I would suggest bringing Super Combat Potion, withdrawing an anti-poison, and if you don't already have full run energy, I would suggest using a Stamina Potion. If you're doing like back-to-back-to-back trips, you're going to have basically no run energy by the time you get here, and you can drink a Stamina Potion in the bank, and then it will let you run all the way to the Kalphite Queen lair, which will save you a lot of time. You're also going to need 2 Shanty passes. You can buy those from Shanty for 5 coins each, so they're not a huge deal. And then you're going to want to bring out some sharks. So the reason you have all these partial potions right now is you're going to go over here, you're going to walk out of Shanty Pass, and you're going to drop a shark. This is because next time you leave, you're going to lose your Shanty Pass, and you'll have a free inventory slot that you can use to pick up the shark. The reason you use super anti-poison instead of regular anti-poison is you can drink it right now. And I'm going to drink the Stamina Potion as well. I don't really have to, but just to show you guys how nice it is to be able to run all the way there. So the reason you have super anti-poison is Kalphite Queen does not poison you, but many of the other Kalphites do. So you drink it in the bank, and it will last until you get to Kalphite Queen. So you go through the Shanty Pass, and you run straight west. It's pretty easy to get to the lair. So you can alternatively protect melee as you're running past all of the Kalphites, excluding level 28s who do not poison you. However, they're kind of scattered throughout the lair, so you might just want to bring a super anti-poison. 1 dose of super anti is like 600 coins, so it's not a huge deal. Once you're in the lair, you need to use the rope on the tunnel entrance, by the way. Once you're in the lair, you just go west, or east, sorry, and then click over here, and you will path all the way there and not have to worry about anything. The reason you bring a Super Combat Potion is obviously it saves 2 inventory slots for 2 more sharks, and as I mentioned before, your kills can occasionally get down to the wire where it's really close, whether you don't have to tab or whether you can finish her off. Alternatively, you can drink a superset in the bank, similar to using the Super Antis and Stamina Potions, but I prefer to just bring a Super Combat. So these 85s are the ones that can poison, or one of the ones that can poison you. So you could pray melee as you run past them, but I have a bunch of super anti-poisons from doing KBD, so I don't really mind using them. Once you get here, you want to pray melee, because these guys are level 141s, and they don't hit often, but they can hit high, and again, they can poison you. You use another rope on the tunnel entrance, and you climb down, and this is the Kalphite Queen lair. You're going to want to run over here and throw on your quick prayers, which are Protect Item, Protect Mage, and Piety when you get here. And basically just start smacking at her. These guys will sometimes follow you over here. If they do, I don't know if I ever used Super Combat, but whatever, there we go. Oh, So she does hit 31s pretty often, as you just saw. So make sure you have a lot of health on. You're also going to want to keep your SDS on shop, because on top of being accurate, it's also a crush attack, which is what the Kalphite Queen is weak against. So as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted, the level 140s will occasionally follow you and start trying to attack you. So try to just get Kalphite Queen in between the two of you. If you're doing it duo and you're trying to stay on opposite sides, which is the best thing to do when you're doing most bosses, you might have some difficulty getting the Kalphite Queen in between you and between both of you and the level 140, but it is possible. When you're combo eating, like when you get low health and you need to eat a lot, you can do what I just did, which is turn off your run and walk under her, and then she's going to try to back up to attack you, so you keep walking in the same direction and change as she changes, which will allow you to eat a bunch of food without getting hit as often. You might get hit like once or twice, but it's better than sitting there. Like, I've had to eat 8 sharks in a row because she'll just keep, like, if she just keeps arranging you for 30s, sometimes you can't even eat fast enough and you have to tab out. So it's a neat little trick. It's not necessary, but it's definitely helpful. So as you can see, the first form prays mage and ranger isn't really relevant, but the second form prays melee, which is why you need Veracs. Or you don't need it, but it helps if you don't have high enough range for a range switch. So you have to make sure that your flail is on pummel, because again, it's crush, which is what the Kalphite Queen is weak against, and also it's aggressive, because the accuracy, while it does help, which I will... so as you can see, she can combo you for upwards of 20s, so sometimes you can't even eat fast enough, but manage to survive. So you don't really need it on accurate, because most of the time when you hit, it's going to be because of the set effect, not because of your accuracy. I might not even get this kill, so that kind of sucks. But as I mentioned before, this is a different kind of protect from melee, because it doesn't block 100% of damage, which is what your protect from melee would do if she was attacking you with melee, against most things. Of course, there are exceptions that can hit through prayer or ignore prayer. But hers doesn't block 100% of damage, and it doesn't even block 40, which is the percentage that is blocked when you're doing protect from melee in PvP. Because I have hit for upwards of 51 with an SGS on her in this form. So I'm not actually sure what the protect from melee does. I think that it gives her extra defense, but not reducing your max hit. Because I came here in full bandos and SGS just to try it, because I thought that it blocked 100% of the damage, and then I found out that it didn't, so I wanted to see if I could do the whole thing using full bandos and SGS and like Nazi Helm and super tryhard melee gear, and the answer was a resounding no. I didn't even get halfway through this form with all that gear before I had to tab out, because I was hitting a lot of zeros. So I don't think it reduces the damage, it just reduces the accuracy, which is another reason why Veracs is so helpful. So I did manage to kill it. I got a Rune Chain Body, which is not a particularly good drop, and it was pretty close. I had no sharks left, I had no prayer points left, or prayer doses left, sorry, but I had a decent amount of stats left, but that's 2 hits for her. And if I got hit for like a 30 once, I would have tabbed out, because if you're below 31 health, I tend to not bother trying to risk it. Especially considering most of her drops don't sell for more than it costs to repair Veracs Helm. So it's definitely not worth risking usually, unless you're feeling really confident. So then you're going to want to tab out if you're using house tabs. Go to your altar, get your prayer back, teleport to Al Kharid, and you just run south to Shanty Pass. You probably know this, but I thought I would show you guys just in case. So that's pretty much all there is to Kalphite Queen. As you can see, it's not a particularly exciting boss, but you do have to pay attention to your health a lot, because she can hit you very often, very quickly. As you can see, I'm at about 49 run, which would barely even get me to the Kalphite lair. So if I was going to go again right now, I would take out some tuna, heal up to full, get my inventory back out, drink a stamina pot, and run over there. But instead, I'm going to quickly end this, start a new recording, and talk about the drops, and you guys will see why Kalphite Queen is not a very popular boss. So now onto the drops, which I don't really agree with the wiki drop table, but I will go through it anyways and talk about the things I disagree with. For example, Rune Axe, Adamant Spear, Rune Battle Axe, Rune 2H, and Adamant Longsword. I've never gotten any of those. It might just be luck or lack thereof, but I haven't ever seen any of those. However, it's a 7k alch, 1.5k alch, 30k alch, 38k alch, and 10k alch. So, I mean, they're not awful drops, but only these two will actually pay for supplies. Rune Warhammer is another 30k alch. However, I would not suggest alching it because you can either save it for a clue in the fishing guild where you need 68 fishing to get in, as well as an elemental shield and a blue d'hide chaps. If you don't have those and have no interest in doing clues, you can usually sell it for above alch value because other people need this and it's not easy to come by. Lava Battle Staff is a 9.5k alch, and you also need it for an elite with a Mind Shield and Black d'hide Vams or Chaps, I forget. I think it's Vams, on top of Trollheim. If you don't do elites, you can just alch it or sell it, but again, like, you can usually sell it for above alch value, but they're in much higher supply than Rune Warhammers because Spectres drop these pretty often, so I usually just alch mine. D2H I've never gotten, but I know people that have, and I like from Kalphite Queen, so I know it drops this, but it's not very common. It's a 250k sell if you get one, but like I said, not very common. Rune Chain Body is what I got in the video. It's a 30k alch. Steel Plate Body is a 1.2k alch. It's her second worst drop. Rune Square Shield's 23k alch. I've gotten a couple of those. Red d'hide Body is like a 6.7, 6.8k alch. Not particularly good, but I mean, it's better than a Steel Plate Body. Dragon Chain Body is her best drop in terms of coins, or coin value rather. It's pretty generous too, especially when you compare to Dust Devils. It's about 3 mil and it's 1/128. I've gotten one of them. I got it at kill number 97, and that basically came close to paying for supplies for the first 97 kills. After 97 kills, I did the math, it's a 54-ish% chance of getting a D-chain. So if you get one of these every 100 kills or so, you'll definitely break even doing Kalphite Queen, but you won't make significant money. Ammunition, I've never gotten iron arrows, steel arrows, or rune javelins, so I'm not going to talk about those. Mithril arrows, I've gotten a couple, and they sell for anywhere from 30 to 55 coins each, which is decent. It's like a 15 to 30k drop, but won't pay for supplies. Rune arrows are 110 to 130 each, which could be up to 30k or so. Again, comes close to paying for supplies, but not particularly good, which is basically how you can define all of her drops. Prayer pot 4s are about 10k each, so that'll pay for your supplies, and you can never have too many prayer pots. Antidote pluses are about 7k each, so that's 35k. That'll probably pay for your supplies as well. Weapon poisons are allegedly 12k, but not many people buy them. However, you can buy dragon daggers and use weapon poison on them and sell DDSs, which are like a minimum of 40k, I think. So if you buy the dragon daggers in Xanaris and sell them for 40k with weapon poison on, that's a 50k drop, essentially. Gems, ignore all of this. I've never gotten any of these drops at all. In fact, I have gotten 20 noted uncut rubies, which are the only gem besides Dragonstone and Onyx not listed here, which is kind of odd, but I have gotten 20 noted rubies a couple of times, but none of any of these. I've also gotten a single uncut sapphire that was not noted, but that was probably from the rare drop table, which she apparently has access to, but that's the only rare drop table drop I've ever gotten, so I'm not sure. As for runes, she does drop 100 bloods, it's about 30k. She does drop this, which is about 25k. Never gotten nats, never gotten fires, never gotten law runes, so I don't think those are actual drops, but I'm not sure. Death runes, that's about a 35k drop minimum, so that's pretty good. That'll pay for your supplies. These drops, I'm pretty much okay with all these, except, well, one's Zamracker 50k, so that's good. Coins, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I've never gotten coin drops from her, so ignore those. Runite bars, it says 3 noted. The actual answer is 1 unnoted, which is significantly worse. Runite bars are about 12k, so that's a 12k drop. It might be possible she can also drop 3 noted, but I've never seen it. I've only ever gotten 1 noted. 8 monkfish is an okay drop if you're in a duo slash team, because it might let you squeeze in another kill or half a kill. However, if you're going to pick these up and bank them, it's basically a crappy drop. They're like 400 to 500 each max, so it's not even a 5k 4k drop. So that's pretty bad. 30 air orbs are about 1.5k each, so that is good. It's about 45k, and that pays for your supplies. 60 magic logs, they're about 1.2k each, which is about 70k. People actually do buy grapes for anywhere from 200 to 350 each, so that's about a 15 to 30k drop, which is not terrible. These noted herbs are okay. I've gotten 20 noted toadflax, lantidimes 2 or 3 times, avantos once, and ranars once, which was a pretty sick drop. It's her third best drop after the 2 dragon items, so that was pretty nice. Potato cactuses are about 500 each, so that's about a 50k drop. You can sell them for higher, because not a lot of people farm them or get them off Kalphite Queen. I sold 600 for 600 each earlier, so you can sell them for a bit higher if you have them in bulk and if people really need them. Water skins, don't even pick these up, you'll just encourage them. Clue scroll, can't really talk about that much, but I've gotten one of them. Kalphite Queen head, you cannot sell it, you cannot trade it. What you do is you stuff it for 20k in Canifis, and then you mount it with 3 mahogany planks and 2 mahogany, 3 mahogany planks, 2 gold leaves, which are 130k each, and you need 78 construction. You can boost it from 70, which is what I did for my KVD heads, with +5 from Stew and +3 from Crystal Saw. You get negligible experience. You get 200 attack, strength, defense, magic, and range experience for about 280k, so I would not suggest doing it more than once, but if you want to get one and show it off in your house, go for it. And Kalphite Princess is the reason I'm killing this boss in the first place, because it's pretty much the coolest pet in the game. I do like the KVD pet, but Kalphite Princess is pretty much unarguably better. The reason it's so cool is, on top of being rare, you can swap it between 2 forms that resemble the 2 Kalphite Queen forms, and it's pretty much one of the rarest bosses in the game, or rarest pets in the game, rather, because it's not a very high drop rate, and not many people kill the Kalphite Queen, because these are the only reasons you would ever kill the Kalphite Queen. Also, it does have the rare drop table, but as I said before, the only drop I've ever gotten is an uncut sapphire, so if you need a ring of recoil super quick, you may want to come kill the Kalphite Queen a couple hundred times and get some sapphires, but I would suggest against that. So, like I said, most of her drops barely fall short of paying for supplies. It might just be because I'm not bringing optimal gear, because I don't want to risk having to repair my Veracs. And it might be because my stats aren't quite maxed, but I'm 97 attack, 98 strength, so I go through pretty much all the sharks every time, and sometimes can't even get a kill. So she's not an easy boss by any means to solo. When you duo, she's a lot more forgiving, because she loses a lot of ticks spinning, similar to KVD and other bosses that you commonly duo. But she's definitely harder than KVD. You need much higher stats. You don't need a Hasta. Like, the gear setup that I had on in the video was, with the Zerk ring, probably like not even 6 mil. So, well, the SGS was 30, so you can go without an SGS though, and it's only 6 mil, which is less than a Hasta is right now. So you can do it technically for cheaper than KVD, but you spend a lot more on supplies and get a lot worse drops. So if you want a boss and you want a pet, I would suggest doing KVD as opposed to Kalphite Queen. But if you want Kalphite Princess in particular, or don't feel like doing KVD and want to just waste time at the Kalphite Queen, you're more than welcome. I made about 2.5 mil profit off 130 or so kills, but that's because I got a Dragon Chain Body, without which I would have lost about 500k. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have ideas for future videos, let me know, because I'm probably going to be doing KQ until I get the pet / go bankrupt. But I will take a break and do a guide or video on whatever you guys suggest, because I'd like to put out more videos, but I honestly don't do a whole lot. I kind of just focus on one thing at a time, and right now that thing is Kalphite Queen, so I don't really know what to do a video on, but if you guys have suggestions, leave it in the comments or add me on RS and PM me, because I've pretty much always got my private on public just for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and have a good day.